What's up, resellers? I'm Rebecca, and you're watching Rebecca the Reseller. Thank you for joining me today for another episode of Reseller Life! Exclamation point. Thanks so much for being here. I appreciate it. If you are new here, hi, I'm Rebecca, and I'm a semi-full-time reseller on Poshmark and ThreadUp, and I dabble in some other things. And this channel is all about reselling, what's sold on Poshmark, Poshmark tips and tricks, and how to increase your sales on, you guessed it, Poshmark. But today's video is all about reseller life, where I have a new and featured reseller on every episode, and we basically talk about their day, a reseller day in the life, so that we can all learn how each other runs our day, what we can do to improve, share ideas. It's a lot of fun. So let's go ahead and welcome today's guest, reseller Wendy. Hi, Wendy. Thank you so much for being here. So how it works is I'm just going to go ahead and go through some rapid fire questions. But first, before I do, go ahead and let everyone know, where they can find you, where you are. Then we'll go through some questions so they can kind of place you on the reseller spectrum of things going on in your reselling life. And then we'll talk about your day.
As of right now, I'm Lucky Lady 25, LUCKEELADY 25 on Instagram, Poshmark, all of the selling platforms. With the exception, I am Reseller Wendy on YouTube. So awesome. That's about all.
Awesome. So you're on YouTube. This is one of the questions, so we might as well talk about it now. So as far as your social media status as a reseller, being on social media, you're on YouTube, you're on Instagram. Are you anywhere else social media related?
I'm on Clubhouse.
Okay, great. So, I forget about that.
I know.
For like a week, and then I kind of stopped.
I just listen while I do other stuff. I don't hardly ever participate.
Cool. Okay, so you're on those places. So if people want to know more, want to connect with you, they can find you in those places. Now, as far as reselling status, you're full-time, part-time, complicated?
Part-time. I have a full-time job. I work at the post office like
that is so cool.
50 plus hours a week. So I don't have a lot of time to devote, but I try.
Okay. So, I mean, I think that is the coolest thing, that you are a USPS, postal worker and a reseller. I feel like you can add so much value and so much insight. So I definitely would love to talk with you more about that. I think that is like the coolest thing. And it's funny because my postal worker just recently was like, so tell me about this reselling thing. Like, she's like, I have 15 resellers on my route and I need to know what you guys are doing. So she might even become one too. And I think that is like the coolest thing. So, okay, let's keep going with your stuff. How long have you been reselling?
Since like 2014, just part-time, just hobbying.
Okay.
I kind of got bored. I was like a housewife out in North Carolina, and I got bored and I started buying storage auctions.
Okay.
That's where I started. And I got a unit that had like tons of like couture shoes, Christian Louboutins, Chanel, Christian Dior. And so that kind of started me on eBay.
Interesting. So you were like, I am a housewife. I am bored. I'm going to do something. I'm going to go and buy an entire storage unit.
Pretty much. I up until that point, I always like bought stuff. I mean, I didn't consider myself a reseller. Like I would do couponings, and then I would have yard sales and all that stuff. So
yes, gotcha. Yeah, that was like, I think a lot of resellers actually kind of somehow segued from extreme couponing when that was like all a craze, and I'm one of them. Yeah. So definitely
I miss it.
Like couponing. I do and I don't, because it definitely like took over me. And then when you think about it, like, yes, it is very helpful. Like, I'm still working through all the toothpaste that I couponed for. And
hair products, free
razors. Yeah. But at the same time, I'm like, I probably should have spent all the time reselling, and I would have actually made money instead of just ended up with all this stuff and quote saved money. Like, I believe in it, but it's also like, maybe you could do better things with your time. Okay. And what platforms are you selling on?
Mainly Poshmark. Okay. I dabble with eBay. I have a few things on Mercari, but you have to feed the beast there as well. I just posted my first listing on Depop. But that's about it. Oh, and I think I might possibly do some live sales starting this week. That's kind of scary, but
Ooh,
I'm gonna try.
that would be great. So on Instagram?
Hmm.
Cool. Well, I mean, I think a lot of people are really kind of considering that kind of thing. I've just seen, like, we always kind of knew it was a thing and there were certain people that did it. And now I'm starting to see more talk and chatter about it. So
Hmm.
it's very interesting. Cool. So we could talk about that a little bit too. And are you solo or do you have any helpers?
I wish I had help. I did have a sharing program for a little while. It got too pricey and I couldn't justify the cost because I wasn't listing like I should be. And
Mm-hmm.
so my listings were really good and then they went down and I'm like, yeah, I can't afford this. So
Gotcha.
I tried to hire my daughter. She's 16. I've hired and fired her a couple of
Yeah.
times. She didn't hardly even help any. So
I love that. I hired and fired my daughter several times. I love that. Yeah,
mhm.
Gio is, 5, and he's now has an interest in earning money so that he can buy all the dinosaurs in the world. And so, because I'm like, that's it. If you want all these dinosaurs, you need to buy them yourself. And so, like, I'll pay him a quarter, and he's thrilled to get it to make 25 small flat rate boxes, like the little ones that look like you could fit like a videotape in, and he'll sit there and like watch his show and put all these boxes together. And I'm like, this is great. Like, I can't wait until I can hire you to do more things. So we'll see how motivated he is when he's older and can actually do more stuff. Cause I'm like, oh man, if I had a 16-year-old, I would totally put that person to work.
It doesn't
But
work.
she's not into it. She's not having it. That's so funny. Okay. And then we talked about social media. And so family status. So you're married with kids?
Married with two.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
He's 11 and she is 16.
Okay.
So
And your business location, you have everything at home, storage unit, warehouse.
at home, we're pretty rural here. And I learned from the mistake of having our personal stuff in a storage unit that wouldn't work because it got destroyed by rats.
Oh
Yeah.
no.
Yeah,
Oh
it was
boy.
bad. So I have to have stuff inside the house where it's like climate controlled and all that stuff too. So
Gotcha. Okay, cool. Well, so that's kind of just giving people a little bit of a broad idea of kind of where you're coming at reselling from. I find reselling, we each run our businesses so uniquely different because it's so lifestyle based. So now we know, you're a postal worker and that's your main gig, and reselling is part-time, but you do have a family. So your time is split. You're on a few platforms and you're also on social media. So what you are doing is a lot. So that way we kind of can talk a little bit about how that plays into your day. So can you tell me a little bit about a typical day, like when you get up, go?
well, right now I'm still not considered permanent at the post office. So
Okay.
my hours could change like weekly. But right now during the week, I am a window clerk from like 8 to 5.
Okay.
And then on Saturdays, I have to be there at 4. So I get up super early. But no day is ever consistent as far as like how I include it with reselling.
Okay.
So like during the weekend, I batch work as much as I can. So I do all my pictures and then while I'm at home and then while I'm at work on lunch or break or something, I like edit and list as much as I can, or at least draft them. That way, when I get ready to list, they're all in there and ready to go.
Right. Okay. And on Poshmark. Okay. So, and how many are you kind of listing per day? Do you have a daily listing habit? And if so, how many are you listing? That way we can kind of get an idea of that.
Like I said, I'm not consistent.
Mm-hmm. And that's okay.
um, I try to at least get 5 to 10 a week because
Okay.
I'm not, but then there's some days or some weeks where I get 20 to 30,
Right.
or something like that. Like if I'm on
And
a listing challenge or something like that.
that's
I
awesome.
I need some motivation.
Well, and I think that that's great that you know that about yourself and figure out ways to kind of trick yourself into these things. Because in the end, it's all a trick, right? Motivation is a trick, I think. It's all about like, what is going to be the thing that gets the fire under your butt? It's not an outside thing. It's whatever works for you.
Mhm.
So, I mean, for me, if it were up to me, I would work 24 hours a day. I love it. I don't know why, especially, and I was like that when I worked for someone else, when I had a traditional job, but even more so now that it's my own business, because I get to do pretty much whatever I want when I want, give or take. So I don't really have like a motivation thing, but I definitely understand when people say, I need some motivation, because there's certain tasks that are not your favorite tasks, right? So
Mhm.
like maybe listing, I feel like for a lot of people it's listing. Like we all want to go shopping.
Oh
I
yeah.
think many people don't mind photos. Some people probably mind photos, but I think in general, a lot of people don't mind photos, because you can put on your music or your podcast or whatever, YouTube, and just kind of jam. But like listing, you need to concentrate sometimes. And so you're just kind of like, it's just me and the computer, and I don't know, but interesting. Okay. So for you, you have an early start to your day. Do you like your shipping before you head off to work, or is that something that you don't really deal with until later on?
I try if I get the orders in the evening, I try to list them. I mean, I try to ship them at night before I, go to
Okay.
bed. That way they're ready. I don't forget about them. Occasionally, if I get one in the middle of the night, I might, I might do it if I'm not dragging that morning.
Okay.
But
But
yeah,
getting up that early, and I know what that's like. Getting up early is super hard. And I wasn't doing it to get out of the house and go somewhere. I was doing it to work in the house before anybody was awake and started like messing with my day.
yeah.
So for me, getting up early was like a must, because it was the only time I could get things done for my business. But so for you, you're trying to get out of the house, get to the post office. And so you're a window clerk. That is so cool. So I'm gonna ask you some questions. Like, do you see a lot of people shipping Poshmark packages as like a person that works there? Is there a lot of like, do you see a lot of it, or is it like, no, Poshmark really isn't that big of a thing in general as
I
a postal
see a
worker?
lot more Mercari. Just I see a lot of Poshmark, but I see a lot of Mercari, and the Mercari I do see, they never get the weights right. And that just irks the crap out of me, irks me.
Do you tell them
So
like, listen, I'm a seller too, go get a scale for goodness sakes?
yeah, I do. And they said, oh, well, it weighed under a pound at my house. And I was like, well, then you need to zero your scale and calibrate it, because it's way off. Like a lot of times they'll always pay for 15.9 and it'll be like 2.5 pounds. And I'm like, that is way off.
I
I was
think
like,
they
you
know
need to
what
be
they're
weighing with
doing.
your packaging.
Right. I think they know exactly what they're doing. They're just trying to see if the
Yeah.
post office won't pay attention. That's so funny. What other things, like as a reseller and a postal, like, is there any interesting, like I see this all the time, or, from a postal worker standpoint, this is why we don't like Poshmark, like, I don't know, is there any like interesting insider information that you're able to share? I don't mean to put
Um,
you on the spot.
oh no, you're good. Are you talking about like are actually shipping or just interesting things that I see? There's a guy that comes in and he has a lot of interesting stuff. He actually sells post-mortem photos, the old like creepy photos. People
Okay.
pay a lot of money for those. And I'm like, really?
Like
It's a little creepy.
he's a photographer and that's his service,
No, he
or he
gets them at
finds
estate
them?
sales and buys them from other people. And then he turns around and he sells them for a lot of money.
Wow. But like just old photos, or old photos of somebody like in a coffin or something like that?
Well, back in the day, they used to like prop them up and like make them look lifelike. They had like little devices where they held their neck and stuff, and it was really a thing. Like families would take pictures with the dead,
Oh my
before
God.
they buried them.
Uh-huh. That
But
sounds crazy.
yeah, it's a little creepy. But I mean,
I
people
mean,
are
no
really into
judgments,
that.
whatever. But I was like, ah, okay.
People are into a lot of weird stuff anyway. Like
I had no idea that
the
was a market. What do they do with that? Like I could see like maybe people that do historical things, or maybe they're
Mhm.
running a museum for like a time period or something like that. And so they need, you know what I mean? Like there is a purpose for a lot of things that's not creepy and weird. It's for education or whatever. Interesting. There's a market for everything.
I know. I see a lot.
That's okay. So that's an interesting one. All right. Well, if you think of any other ones while we talk about your day some more, let me know, because like I say, I mean, I feel like it's such an interesting opportunity to have somebody that knows from the post office, because there's and you must see it in the community, being on Instagram and, with your YouTube channel, like people complain about their postal worker, or they, love them and have a good relationship like I do. Like we know her by name, like Gio tells her he loves her. I think it's because she's a blonde and he has a thing for blondes. He's 5, by the way. But like, he's known her because she's been our person for years now. So, I mean, he knows her, and like we would see her every day. And when I see her, I try to bring the packages out to her. Now, granted, that's a different role than what you have, because she's the delivering, what do you call them? A route person?
Carriers.
Carrier. Yes. Hello. So that makes sense. So, it's a different perspective, I guess. But do you get, like, when you hear people on Instagram, like saying mean things about their postal worker, do you jump in and give them what for?
I don't usually, but sometimes I'm like, well, maybe this is what happened, or I try to give them the benefit of the doubt. But because not all carriers are bad, and the ones that they probably are complaining about might be like relief carriers, because we have what's called a CCA at most offices, and they fill in for those regular carriers when they're on their day off, or when they're sick. And those carriers, those CCAs, have maybe just started, or maybe only been there a year, and they're having to learn multiple routes within the city.
Yeah.
So they may not know your specific, situation.
Is there I always wondered that. Is there communication between the normal route person and the person that does fill in, whether it's that one day a week or for a vacation for a week or something like that? Is there any like route notes, like crazy lady over here with the dog and the packages or something like that?
They do have special notices, like, that they put in the case, just in case you have something that gets misdelivered a lot, or there is a dog, or, but a lot of the communication should come from the supervisors. If you have a package pickup notice or something, they give that in the morning with their, the clerk gives that with their accountables in the mornings, like their certifieds and their express. And
interesting. So. Yeah, I wondered that, because for a while I had, my normal person, her name is Heather, and she's usually off on Tuesdays. And Tuesdays, it used to be Jeff, but now it's not Jeff anymore. It's some other guy, Ryan. But then when I met Ryan, he said he was the second Ryan that fills in for the first Ryan when Heather is off on Tuesdays. I'm like, okay, now we're just getting, like, listen, okay, I can't know the entire postal unit of Orlando, Florida, so we'll just cut it off at that. So I kind of stopped on Tuesdays trying to figure it out. But I do make the effort to let them know what I'm doing and communicate with them, and try to, win them over with some snacks sometimes, or baked goods perhaps, and a holiday gift. But like, not everybody thinks to do all of that. They just expect whatever. And I don't know what the normal thing is, but I do think that, if a person puts in a package pickup request, it's just, I feel so bad for the people that have a route where the person's like, nope, not going to stop and pick up those packages when there's like a request, because isn't that like the whole thing? And I mean, I know that's not, again, your role, you can't speak on the whole thing, but
they may not have gotten the request in the first place too. Supervisor may have fell down on the job. You never know.
Right.
Still may be on their printer.
Right. And maybe that's a good thing, the fact of recognizing that there is a supervisor. And so if you do find yourself having an issue, maybe you can reach out, to the post office in your area and ask about the, supervisor, and say, hey, just wanting to see what's going on here. I don't know. But anyway, we'll go back to your day, because I don't want to put you too much on the spot with that. I just was like, oh my God, postal carrier, I need to talk to you. So you get up, you go to work, you do some listing or some drafts on your phone when you have break time from work. Then you come home, and so you're batch doing your photographs and batch doing some of the other things. So it is like, do you have a certain day of the week that you try to knock out all your photos for the week, or is it just kind of when you run out?
Mainly on the weekends.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, because I the kids, my husband is home. He works 8 to 5 during the week too. So he can, he can do it.
Right.
So,
So when you do your sourcing,
well, I'm trying not to source anymore just because I have so much stuff. Like I have a
okay,
big room over here. This is just like a small portion of what you can't see. I've got this little shelf here because I started doing, actually started doing like modeling my photos. That was a goal of 2021. I was
okay,
like, I need to have a space. And I've been putting them on my Instagram. I've been doing like the
I
mystery
saw.
jewelry boxes,
Nice.
and I love like the jewelry that I've been finding.
Oh,
So
good, good.
it's
Yeah,
been
you have
fun playing dress up.
on your channel, for those that maybe haven't found you yet, you have a lot of the Goodwill Blue Box things, and then you
Yes.
have some of the, I guess it's, I haven't watched a thread up. Is it thread up DIY? Because I saw like a DIY t-shirt. So I'm assuming that's a thread
Yeah,
up
there's
one.
thread up rescue boxes. I think the last one I haven't, I think the last one I got a men's box. So I'm not sure, but I did do the DIY t-shirts. Actually, it was a lot better than I expected.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, I think a lot of people like the unboxings because it does kind of help them get an idea if it's worth it for them. Because what might be worth it for you might not be worth it for someone else, or might be
Mhm.
amazing for someone else, because we all have different sourcing situations in our local area. And so that's why I try to stay away from, kind of beating people up on sourcing or things like that, like when I do Poshmark closet reviews or something, because it is so vastly different. You're in Oklahoma, you said, I think, right?
I live in Oklahoma, but I'm on the border, so I work in Arkansas.
Oh,
So yeah, I source mainly in Arkansas because we don't have anything here.
okay.
So
Interesting. Okay. So there's better sourcing in Arkansas than in Oklahoma.
well, as far as my area, yeah. Now, if I lived in Tulsa or Oklahoma City,
Okay.
that's different. I love sourcing in Tulsa and Oklahoma City, but I don't have time to travel that often.
So then would you say you're primarily going off of your unlisted inventory that you have previously
Mhm.
shopped, and then incoming, like you're ordering it online? So you're not going to the thrift store as much right now.
Not a whole lot, except for yesterday. I did get this because my favorite thrift store was by my physical therapy office, and I had physical therapy. So I got this Show Me Your Moo sweater that I plan on listing.
That is like, it's so colorful.
Ooh, I
Really
think
beautiful.
it's actually a beach cover up, but it could be a lightweight sweater for the spring.
Whatever. Yeah, no, I think that's great. Okay, so we got photographs in on the weekends. We're sourcing mostly online and working through our unlisted inventory, and which is good anyway, just to kind of be safe, still through all of this right now. And so listing then primarily just happens as you can throughout the week while you're at work on your breaks.
Mhm.
They're on her break. She's not, sitting at the postal window doing her listings.
Of course
And
not.
shipping happens at night. So what other kinds of things, reselling related, do you fit in, and where do you fit it in? Whether it's like weekly or on a daily basis? Or does that cover everything?
I don't know if there's really anything else.
So how and when do you do your content then?
Talking about the YouTube
Yeah.
on
Or
mainly
Instagram
on
too.
the weekend. I don't typically wear makeup during the week because I don't have time. So I've just been like doing everything usually in one day. And I'm like, okay.
Like,
And
okay,
my
come
daughter likes
on.
to do those videos with me. So I'm like, okay, let's go in there and let's unbox. And so we'll do like 3 in a row, and
Nice.
then I'll make it last. Like I haven't posted a YouTube video in like 2 weeks. I have one that I need to edit, but I'm prioritizing because actually this week I need to do my taxes. And that's actually why I'm home this week,
Okay.
is because I'm like, I need 2 days off in a row because I don't keep up with it during the year.
You need to
So,
backtrack everything. You're
uh-huh.
pulling out the shoebox of receipts or
But
the
luckily I did
folder.
open my own business account this year.
Mhm.
So half the year was just out, only in that account. So I know what I bought.
It does make a difference. I make myself, like, I try to laminate everything. I'm like a serial laminator. So like my questions for Reseller Life, I have laminated. That way it kind of keeps me on track. But then just like a week ago, to kind of speed up my financials, which I try to do weekly on Mondays, because I hate doing it. I hate it. I hate it so much. So I made like a cheat sheet of like, okay, go to your credit card and check these charges, go to your PayPal and write down these, you know, and try to pull everything together in a spreadsheet from all the various sources. But as resellers, we have multiple platforms. And then if you're like, you know, maybe you have like affiliate and I have affiliate and then I have YouTube. There's so many different things. Apparently it's lawn day. So they're mowing outside. I don't know if you can hear it. I guess it's Tuesday. I didn't think about that. So having a list of knowing that can, you know, cheat me into knowing where to look and easily pull everything has made it go a lot faster. But I like to see things on a weekly basis as far as like my totals and how I'm tracking and stuff like that. But for you, if it's like, listen, I'm not doing it till the bitter end in March so I can go file by April, then that works too, right?
last year I was pushing the extension, which was July.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Oh boy. Well,
So
good to, you know, get it in because there's all the stimulus things and stuff like that. Like my husband and I try to do it pretty early. So usually the end of February, like that last week in February is when we do it because we have our retirement accounts with Charles Schwab. That takes forever to get that in. And so that's usually the last thing we're waiting for. And then we do it the last week of February. That way it's like, whew, and over with. But yeah, so we're already done with it, but good luck with it. Hopefully you don't forget anything, got everything.
crossed.
Fingers crossed it works out well. So I guess, you know, just in kind of heading towards wrapping up so that way I can be mindful of your time and everybody watching. Is there anything else, whether it's a tip or a trick or a hack or something that you do, because you are different from me in that you have a full-time job that you're going to, plus you have a family, plus you're trying to do reselling, plus you're trying to do your social media, and everything has to give sometimes. How do you get it all done? Any tips for those out there that, you know, are new to this or struggling with this and, you know, are looking to someone that's in a similar situation like yourself?
I don't get it all done. I don't. And I think I need to get back on like getting a VA for at least the sharing part of it, because that's,
It helps so much.
and the whole reason why I did it in the first place was because I have carpal tunnel. So it was like irritating my carpal tunnel sharing, you know, multiple times a day.
Right.
And that took away some of that burden.
Absolutely.
So now I only share my favorite things that I have at the top of the closet.
Well,
Whatever. I think my whole business model has changed a little bit because I don't list a lot of like lower items now. I mainly list some of the higher stuff, like expensive bags and shoes, not
Right.
like complete designer, but you know, things that I don't know, different stuff, you know. So I do a lot of like pay up for Brahmin and fry and all that good stuff, just because I don't have time to list. So when I do sell something, it needs to be worth my while.
And that's interesting. Can we talk about that for a second? Because I always, and I struggle with this a lot, of wanting to be someone that pays up for an item and sells a higher end thing and sells less of them and does less work, but has a bigger payday. But my mindset has always been, and where I always have felt comfortable, is being more of a buy it easy, buy it cheap, do a lot of sales, keep things going, activity, ka-ching,
Yeah.
ka-ching. I wouldn't say I'm a volume seller because I don't sell like that, you know, 40 packages a day or anything like that. But I have that mindset. How, because you're very limited on time, I guess you don't have a choice, but how is that for you? Like, do you just say like, I'm going to go to a thrift store and it's hard for me sometimes because I could find something that I know could sell, but it's not the big enough payday for me? Like how is that in practice, I guess?
I still buy all the lower stuff. That's what's
you
a
do?
problem. Like I went to my favorite discount store and they were having their sale where all these colors were 99 cents, like store return discounts, like Revolve stuff or soft surroundings. And so I got a whole bunch of stuff And I still buy it and I need to list it. And that's one of the things that I thought about selling on the live sales, was some of the stuff that I didn't pay up very much for,
Right.
so that a way I can push it out the door really quick. And I'm hoping that it will work out for me, because I don't have time to list.
Right. So you do the live sale. You don't have to spend all the time listing and photographing it, because you're just holding it up and saying, do you want to buy this? And then you still get the sale. That's actually probably a great idea. So
Mm-hmm.
I love that. I think that's a really great and really smart idea, because it's kind of like when you're on YouTube and you do a live, there's no editing, there's no all this stuff. You just put it up there and it is what it is. So that could be really great for you. I think that's a
I hope
good
so. I hope it works out. I
idea.
think I just need to get over my fear of messing up and just doing something wrong and looking like a dumb butt.
Don't worry about that. I mean, and I say this with love for all resellers. Because I do Poshmark closet reviews. I get a lot of questions, in different ways, not that, whatever, but I mean to sound, boastful, but like, there's a wide range of people out there, right? And we all have a wide range of know-how, and we're all at different parts in our career. So you could have, let's say, 100 people watching you that day, and 10 of them are going to be way better sellers than you and are going to be judging you the whole time. And then you have 60 of them. There's real talk over here. And you have 60 of them that have never sold anything and just want to see how you're doing it, because they're dying to know, because they don't even have the balls enough, let's just say, to even get on there and do a sale. And then you have the 20 people that follow your content and they love you and they're going to be there cheering you. And like, you know what I mean? You're going to have a whole mix of people that are there for a million different reasons. You can't please them all. Some of them won't say anything to you. Some of them will say stuff to you, and it's going to be nice or not nice. You just have to know, like, can you take that? Are you okay with that? I mean, you've put yourself out on YouTube, you put yourself out on Instagram, otherwise. So I don't think it's that much different, is it? I mean, I've never done a live sale, so I don't know.
I haven't even ever done a live video. So that's what makes me nervous. I mean, I was on live, was I on live? I can't remember. I was somewhere with somebody at one point and I don't remember. I've slept since then. I don't know. No, but I've been the stalker lately, watching other people's lives just to see how they worked.
Absolutely. And that's what we all do. Like, we all creep on everybody else's stuff all the time for one reason or another. I creep on so many things. Before I did my boutique, I creeped on every Poshmark boutique that I thought was something, that I thought they were making sales, and I'd go and check. I'm like, oh, she looks like she's selling a lot. Let me check out what this person's doing. And, that's what I advise people to do in my course and for the boutiques. I'm like, just go creep on other boutiques and see what you can learn. And I say that with Poshmark closet reviews, like, go find a store or closet that you think is doing well, and go creep on them and just see what you can find out. I mean, it's all out there on the internet, so we can all do that with each. I think you're going to do great. I think if you stood up there and said, this is my new show me the moo thing, and I mean, I've just realized that, like, you can't make everyone happy. So the one thing that you're thinking about that's going to be like your worst fear of somebody thinking you're doing a terrible thing, you could also be met with the opposite of that, which is somebody thinking you just did the greatest thing, and you're both talking about the same thing. I don't know if I'm, like, explaining myself.
No, you're good. I'm a bigger girl. And so, like, that was one of the reasons why I was really nervous about modeling some of my own clothes. I'm not comfortable in my skin most of the time, but I just, like, was going to do it because I see other people doing it, and it ended up being so much fun. And somebody actually made the comment, oh, I love your confidence. And I was like, I really don't have it, but thank
And
you.
that's what I mean, because you're self-conscious about the confidence part of it, or you don't think you have it. And then here's someone that says, oh my God, that's it. There's things that, I've done with a video, and one comment will be like, that's wrong. You're crazy. What are you doing? Blah, blah, blah. And then 2 comments later, someone will be like, I just love that you talk so fast, because we can get in and it's usually about me talking fast most of the time.
That was my first impression, that you did talk really fast.
Somebody loves it and somebody hates it. I'm like, look, I don't know what to tell you.
You get more words in that way though.
It is. So, it's like you can't please everybody, and it takes it takes everything just to be like, feel okay about it. But I bet you that you'll have a lot of people that just totally admire it, think it's the coolest thing, and then they'll be creeping on you to do it. And because it's kind of not a super common thing. I mean, I don't know. I don't watch a lot of live sales, but I don't think it's super common. I think it's kind of, not the norm. So there's probably like the wild west thing. Like you could do it however you want. And maybe the thing that you do is going to be what sets you apart from somebody else or whatever. I don't know.
Some people, that's their only business model. They don't sell on Poshmark or
Yeah.
anything else like that. Like I've been watching Kiki. She's pretty young and she does live sales. And Leslie, Reseller Passion,
Right. Yes.
she's been doing all of hers because she's moving and like liquidating, and she's
Yes.
been like killing it.
I always say, I posted it on Instagram the other day, I'm like, she is the hardest working woman in showbiz because she's everywhere all the time. And I don't know how
all
I love
everywhere.
her.
And on Clubhouse, and somebody made that comment last night that every room, every place that she goes every day, that she's always in the room speaking, and that they need to make her face the Clubhouse face. You know how they change that face?
They should. She's got, but you know what too? That shows what kind of businesswoman she is, to say, I see this new thing, I'm going to go all in on this new thing, and I'm going to be the one in this new thing, because we'd all think that there are bigger resellers than her out there that would just go in and blow up. But no, who's the one in there? Leslie.
I love her. I love her. She's so inspiring.
The hostess with the mostest, and she's got all the followers, and she's got all the, I mean, I give her so much credit. She's going to be on. I booked her yesterday. So she's going to be on a future episode of Reseller Live, which exclamation point. Always have to put that in there. I love.
Can't wait to watch.
Thank you. Yeah, so she's super cool. I love her. So yeah, okay. Well, I think that's cool. I wish you the best of luck with the sale thing for sure. For those that are interested in that, start watching her journey. Maybe you can put a YouTube video on your channel about
how successful it was,
how you're doing it, because that's, I don't know that many people that are doing that as content. That could be something that sets you apart. There's just, you can make content about making content around here. It's like crazy.
Whatever works.
It makes my head spin sometimes. I'm like, oh, I can make a post about how I'm making a post right now about making a post for tomorrow. Like, I don't know.
I did a video once, how to make an Instagram thumbnail, and I used my own thumbnail, and then I made that next thumbnail. Like, it works.
It's really, yeah, it can make your head spin a little bit. I get too confused with stuff like that. But anyway, well, I will, be respectful of your time and everybody watching. So one more time, let everyone know if you have any closing thoughts or anything you want to share and where they can find you.
Just get your weights right from a postal worker. No, but YouTube.
Postal worker upset.
Yeah, don't know. Somebody brought me cookies yesterday and I was happy. So Reseller Wendy on YouTube, and Lucky Lady 25 on everywhere else.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it. And for those watching at home, thank you so much for joining me today. I do appreciate it. I hope that you will catch whatever video comes up next. And don't forget to subscribe so that we can hang out again. Like the video on the way out, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.